Drago's charbroiled oyster kit, delivered to your door. The single best bite of food in New Orleans, now the single best bite of food in your house. Beautiful, fresh Louisiana oysters that you do not eat raw. You simply cook them. And because it's shipped overnight and we want to make sure that the oysters are safe, there's dry ice in the box. If the dry ice is not there, it's not a big deal. It just means it melted because there's more protection for the oysters. We start off with our special cheese that we have. Just simply open the bag and pour it into a little dish. Of course, we have some French bread, Louisiana, New Orleans style French bread that's delicious. You heat it up. There's nothing better to sop up that butter that we're gonna have in just a little bit. We put our butter garlic sauce in there. We're using these little aluminum shells. They work just as good, and it fits the oyster perfectly. You're gonna love it. And then now, the main ingredient. Beautiful, fresh Gulf oysters. It comes in an insulated bag. You open up the insulated bag, and then you have the beautiful Louisiana oysters. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the gel pack out of the bag. Just gotta be a little bit careful because we don't wanna waste these great oysters. So the gel pack is gone. So it's double sealed here. So now we're just gonna take a knife, cut the bag open. We're gonna take the oysters and pour them in a bowl. Okay guys, let's get ready. 3 dozen charbroiled oysters, here they come. This is the first step. You take the beautiful Louisiana oysters and you put them in the little shells. Just put one per shell. Some of it's gonna overflow, some oysters are gonna overflow it, some of them are gonna fit perfectly, but it's not a big deal. And we're ready to go and take it to the grill. Got the butter garlic sauce, I got the cheese. The French bread is gonna be in the oven in a minute. Oh my God, it's gonna be great. Okay guys, it's game time. Oysters, we put them on the shells already, and now we're simply just gonna put them right on the grill. Very simple. Usually I like to work back of the grill towards the front, especially when you're putting the sauce on, because sometimes that grill is really, really hot. If it's too hot, there's nothing wrong with taking a pair of tongs and taking the oyster and putting them on with tongs. You can cook them all at one time, or you can take your time and cook them a little bit each way. I've got this fire on a little low right now. I'm gonna bring it back up. I'm gonna show you in just a few minutes how you can tell when they're done. But now you just take the sauce, our beautiful butter garlic sauce, and you put a little bit of sauce, about a tablespoon on each oyster. You just wanna cover it up. And that steam's coming up because it's hot down there. And it doesn't matter how hot you get the grill or how cool, it's gonna be a matter of seeing and being able to look at the oyster and say, this oyster's done and it's ready. It's not about the temperature and it's not about how long. So now we take the Parmigiano Romano cheese that has the parsley in it, and we just simply put a little bit of oyster, probably about a tablespoon on each oyster. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So I sometimes put a little bit extra cheese. And as this cheese is cooking, a lot of people ask, are these gluten-free? Yes, they are, because there is no breadcrumbs. Although people think there's breadcrumbs in the cheese, no breadcrumbs. It's just butter, margarine, garlic, seasoning, Parmesan and Romano cheese, and parsley, and a beautiful Louisiana oyster. Nothing else. And you sit there and let them cook. If you want a little bit of prime time and show time, just a little bit extra sauce. And that gives us fire and smoke. And yeah, we just let it rain a little bit more flavor. You know, sometimes it'll take a minute, sometimes 5 minutes. You gotta look at the actual oyster. You know, when the oyster goes on the grill, it's got that flat, slick look to it. When they're cooking and after the fire's on it, you'll see it's gonna get a little puffed up appearance. You'll see the kind of little fins on the side of the oyster or the ridges, and then all the cheese will be brown on it. But once that oyster is puffed and you can see the ridges, that means that oyster is at least 160 degrees, safe, beautiful, and most importantly, delicious. These guys are starting to be ready. I can see the puffed up look on it, and I'm literally taking it off, putting them on my plate. Some of them are getting that golden brown look. Some of them get a little bit darker golden brown look. That's not a big deal. And we have a bunch of beautiful charbroiled oysters cooked right at home, and they are absolutely delicious. They're waiting for an appetite and of course some French bread to dip that butter in. And before I serve it, I'm just gonna put a little bit more butter on it. 3 dozen charbroiled oysters delivered overnight to your house. dragosrestaurant.com, hit store, cook them, follow the instructions, and then enjoy them.